Let's get into a crypto roundup this weekend. Let's take a look at how Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and I think I'm going to add BONK this time around. Let's see how they are doing here today. But first, let's look at the Bitcoin monthly returns. You can see here in November of 2024, we got a plus 37.29%. That's in the lower part of the average there, especially compared to previous halving years. Oh, except 2016. We did better than 2016 than the 2016 halving. We did a little worse than the 2020 halving, but 37% is nothing to spit at. We almost got up to that average. We actually pulled that average up a little bit. It was like 44% before. Now it's at 46%. The median we pulled up, I think that was 7-8%. Now it's almost 11%. So we did a pretty good month there in November. That was pretty exciting to see that. And in December here, we're already up 0.79%. In halving years, we tend to do pretty well on in December. You can see here 2020 was 46.92%. In 2016, it was 30.8%. So we could be seeing another 30 to 50% this month as well. So that would be very, very exciting. I don't know if we will. That would be a huge, huge move. That would be taking us up to what, like 100 and like 40, 140, 150,000, somewhere in there in 1 month from where we currently are. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there is precedent for it moving up that much in December in a halving year before, but is there enough money flowing around to get it to go to those heights? Because we are significantly more expensive than we were back in 2020 or 2016. So it'd be a big feat, a big challenge to meet. But I mean, Bitcoin's done it before, so maybe it'll do it again. We'll see. We'll see. That'd be pretty exciting though, for all of us. Anyways, let's take a look at the daily chart here for Bitcoin. So there's a couple of things to feel good about and concerned about. So, all right, let me come in here. Some drawings are going to pop in here in a second. So right here, that is feeling like a bull flag. And that's feeling like a bull flag for a couple of reasons, okay? First reason, average force is going up. Nice. Second reason, my stochastic momentum ribbons is yellow on green. It's very light, it's very faint, but you can see it is indeed yellow on green, which means that this pullback here was likely a flag, and this movement here also likely a flag. Also, if I drill down to the hourly, and if I turn off some lines so you can actually see it, we're coming out of a falling wedge on the hourly. Look at how that is. And for the falling wedge, we'll take this move here, which was a very similar sort of move as this one was right there, and we'll take that up here. Well, I need to go a little higher. We could see this thing go, what did this was? This was 4%, 4% up. Okay, what would 4% up be from this little move here? Let's see if it matches. If it matches 3, 4, it would be, yeah, a little bit higher. Just a tiny bit. That would take us right under $100,000 again, this falling wedge that we just are coming out of on the hourly chart. So that's pretty exciting here. We're also building up their average force. It's kind of flattening out on the hourly chart here. So if we lose this line, watch, let me delete these because these don't matter anymore. This is already playing out. If we lose this line on the hourly, that's going to be bad. Then we would come back to the bottom down at 95. And if 95 doesn't hold, we come all the way back down to 94. 94 doesn't hold, then we have a big old drop all the way down into the low 90s. Okay. And this is looking awfully like a head and shoulders right here. You can see here on the hourly, shoulder, head, shoulder, and neckline's about right there. So again, we come down to that. We'll come down to the neckline if we lose that line, which is at 95, and then we'll come even lower from there if that fails. So now let's go ahead and go back to the daily here and see if there's anything else of interest here. So right now, I am looking at this to potentially so if we lose the 5-day moving average on Bitcoin, that's when we'll know that we're going to have a bad time. All right, which we're currently and have been riding for the last 4 days. This green line right here, 5-day, which is at 96,523. Okay. If we lose that, we are going to come down to the 21. We almost did it last time, right? We tried to. We didn't quite lose it though. See, notice how it's still touching it right there? We never actually lost the 5-day moving average. This is not a break of the 5-day moving average because the very next day we came right back and touched it again. So it's only a break of structure or of a trend line or of a moving average if the candle closes beneath or above it, and the next one opens beneath or above it. All right, it has to be completely disconnected from it for 2 candles, right? All right, so if that happens, right, if we came down here and closed it at anywhere under 96,523, right, and then opened another candle under 96,523, then there's a very good chance we would come down to the 21-day moving average, which is currently at 91,819, so 91,819, and that would get us dangerously close to the neckline here for this double top that I've talked about before on Bitcoin, okay? If we get that, we could come down to the 200-day moving average, which is currently at $79,000, but by the time it gets there, it'll be about $80,000, which would represent a 20% pullback, which is honestly a healthy pullback. So don't be surprised if you see that. And if you do see that, Bitcoin miners are going to fall through the floor for a little while. That would be your buying opportunity going into 2025, to be honest. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. So yeah, that would be the dip. That would be the dip I'd be buying hand over fist. Let's see if we get a weekly on the weekly. The weekly is not bad, actually. Like we're real hot. It's real hot. We're above the fib bands. We're above the ATR bands. If this thing were to come back down, yeah, it would. The 21 would. I mean, honestly, the 5 week is down at 88, 664. Let's run a fib on this. Actually, let's run a fib from right here. This move up on the weekly. Let's run a fib. That is a lot of drawings. If we came back down to the 618, that would be $70,000. That'd be a 30% drop. If we came back down to the 786, it'd be $62,000. That'd be wicked. That'd be real bad. People would not be having a good time. But the 382, which is actually a solid bounce area, especially in a bull run, that would be at 81,559, which would get us very close, dangerously close to that 20% pullback. So I'd be watching 81,559 or like 81,600, somewhere around there, for a potential pullback and bounce on this. So some things are lining up for that. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I am saying that if we lose the 5-day moving average, 21-day is next. If 21-day does not hold up, which is at 91,816, if that doesn't hold up, then the 200-day. And the 200-day is hanging out around 79,000, but would quickly come up to that 81,500-600 range while we are falling into it, and then that would be a 382 retracement on the fib band, on the fib levels for the weekly, which would also line up with the 200-day moving average, which would also line up with an average pullback. So if we are to get the pullback down to that level, it is not time to panic. It is time to get greedy around there. Okay, keep that in mind. That is the time when others are fearful and we are greedy. Anyways, that's the Bitcoin analysis. I do see a potential for maybe a 20-ish% dip in the near future, and we'll see if we get that. Hopefully, I honestly kind of want to get that because I would like to load up on some more stuff before this bull run is over. Trying to get rich over here. I didn't say Sol at the beginning of the video, but we're going to go over Sol because Sol is honestly my favorite crypto. My favorite one is Sol. Anyways, Sol, let's take a look here. It's starting to curl over. It's coming down. So we got pink on purple. Average force is low on the daily. That's not great. That is not great. You see what happened here? We didn't even technically lose the 5. The 5 just came with us down to the 21. We hit the 21. We're curling back over here. We're going to hit the 21 again. Now, if Bitcoin falls down to 80,000, Solana is going to come down to 200. That's just the way it is. If Bitcoin falls to 80, Solana is coming down to 200. It might even dip a bit lower than 200. It might even come to the bottom Bollinger Band, which is down at 188. That could happen. And that would be not very fun, but it absolutely could happen, and it could happen in a hurry, especially with the formation that we're getting here. This is a lower low, lower high. We get a lower low underneath 221, then that's basically confirmed. We're going back to 200, maybe even 188 on Solana. Let's take a look at the weekly. Take a look at the weekly. The weekly is looking pretty strong. Do we even have... No, we don't have fib bands for the weekly on this because it hasn't been around long enough. It's only been around for a couple of years. Not just a couple of years, but since the last bull run. Anyways. Yeah, so as soon as we broke this thing right here... Oh, I bet I have it drawn already. I do. Haha. As soon as we broke that, yeah, we could come back and back test that down at like 178, which would be the 21-week moving average. If we lose the 5-week moving average at 223, I would not be surprised at all to come down to see 188, which is where the 21-week would meet us on the way down likely. And that would be actually a pretty solid retracement of the previous high, right? Just like we did back here, right? We ran up, went sideways for a couple weeks, came all the way back down, tapped the previous high a couple of times, and then carried on our merry way. So I am sitting on significant gains on Solana, so I am thinking, should I consider taking some profit and then buying in again? Because all my Solana is long-term capital gains tax right now. So that wouldn't be the worst thing. I'd really like to do it in 2024 and not pay taxes on it this year, though. So hold on, Solana. Stay up there till January 1. I don't want to deal with it this year. That sounds annoying. Hold. We'll see. If I lose that 5-week moving average, though, I might be forced to take some profit. Not tons of it, but a little bit of profit. And watch it come back down. And then rebuy again down at the bottom. Let's take a look at Ethereum now. Let's see. Ethereum is now currently today up 0.47%. We've been on this wicked run up on Ethereum here ever since mid-November, and it's just been going up and up and up and up and up. I am seeing potential of a rising wedge. Let me see if the patterns think the same. Doesn't seem as though they do. There's some stuff back here that it was doing. I don't see that happening. Anyways, I'll draw it since the auto patterner recognizer doesn't see it for some reason. Seems pretty glaring to me. Right here, right there, and then we have this one right there. Boom, look at that. That wedge. So we're at the top of that wedge right now. If we were to come down, we might come back down to 3,500, maybe even down as low as 3,501. What was that? 3,596 so 36 to 3,500. We could drop and still be inside of that wedge and drive higher and higher and higher. And we could even go up and above the wedge before falling down. But yeah, on the daily, that is very much a rising wedge right there. And we are above this trend line here. So this might act as support, and we might not break that rising wedge. But I would not be surprised if we did. And if we did, I would be looking at the 21 moving average down at 3,300 and the 200-day moving average down at 2,925 as resting areas after this thing were to fall off of that rising wedge there. But there's a trend line right here that could hold us up. As long as we're above the 5-day, we're going to keep running. Okay, that's something to keep in mind. We're in a bull run. We're in a very solid bull run. Anytime we're above the 5-day moving average and it is holding above the 5-day moving average, it will continue to hold above the 5-day moving average. Once it breaks, it's coming to the 21. Okay, them's the rules, right? Just like back here, look at this. Held the 5 held. We came, started closing candles beneath it, kind of like barely clinging to it. We were on life support there. We tapped the 21, and then we came back up above it, and we stayed above it. We're holding above it. And if we drag it back down, we'll come back down to the 21. And that's basically just how it works. Let's take a look on the upside. I'm looking at Ethereum to come up here at least to the 3,985. We're still waiting for Ethereum to do a new all-time high. Bitcoin got a new all-time high. Solana got a new all-time high. It is Ethereum's turn to do an all-time high. Are we going to see it this month? Maybe. That'd be great. If we did, it's going to go over 4,100. Probably come up to like 4,200, maybe 4,300. That would be excellent for BitDigital. BitDigital would be loving that if that were to happen. And we'd be having a very good time, any of us in BitDigital. Full disclosure, I am in BitDigital. I am waiting for BitDigital to hit like that $7-8 range, and then I'm going to drop it for the winter and wait for better buying opportunities in the spring-ish time around then. Let's take a look at the weekly. That's weekly on Ethereum. The weekly on Ethereum actually looks pretty good. We came up above the 200. We did a little flag and we went higher. We could come as low as 32.58 and still be very, very, very bullish on the weekly. And if we went into the fib clouds, we could go as far up as 4,800 before we're running out of steam on this. This is also looking very cuppy. Very much like a cup. Okay. And let's take a look. So if we went to the bottom of the cup, somewhere around there, and the brim of the cup is somewhere around right here-ish. So we could come back down as low as 3,000 and still be in that cup and handle nice and safely. and the cup and handle would go as high as, let's get it in there. It would go as high as, that cup and handle could take us as high as $6,000. So that's pretty cool. That's if it plays out. It needs to become a cup and handle. Right now it's just Scoopy. Right now it just kind of looks like the scoop. So we're not quite there yet, but it's got to go up, come back down somewhere between 3,200 or 3,300 and 3,000, and then launch from there, come back above 3,900, and once it does that, yeah, we have room all the way up to close to $6,000 here from that move, from that cup and handle. Now we also have this huge one, this big boy coming in on the weekly. Let's see if this actually played out as a cup and handle, or if it's going to. So let's go to the bottom. The brim was about right there. Yeah, we came right into it. We held it. And then if we go all the way to the top of this thing, we're looking at 7,251 at the top of this big old giga cup here for Ethereum. And that, again, would be exceptional for Bit Digital, which is a big holder of Ethereum. Let's take a look at Doge. Look at that weekly on Doge. This is just a moonshot. So this is how I've been playing memes, by the way. Looking for this exact setup right here. Let me see if I still have it drawn. Yes, I do. Okay. So looking for this exact setup right here. I'm looking for the big blow off move up and then a slow grind down. And I'm looking for it to break the trend line sideways and then hold for a couple of weeks. And then after that couple of weeks, launch time. That's how I've been playing it. So right now, what I'm looking for is, since we are in this period of time now, right? So we're about right here, right? In this cycle, something like this, right? We already did that big move up, grind down, and blast off. Now I'm looking for it to give back like half of that or 20% of it. How much did this give back? Yeah, like 60%. I'm looking for it to give back like 30, 40% of this big move here. At least I really want to see it give back like 30, 40% of this move here. Let me turn that off, which in this case would be, let's take a look. Did we give back 30% of this already? I hope not. We gave back 24. That might be all we get. I would like to see it give back more like 40%, something like down to here, down to 29 cents. I'd really like to see it do that and then take off again, because that's the general pattern. Like it'll give you like 30, 40, 60%, somewhere like that, and then launch again. But I mean, Doge, I mean, it's been getting so much attention right now. I don't know if it will, but you can see average force is coming down on the weekly here. But stochastic ribbons are all pointing in the right way. Let's take a look at the daily. Again, average force is diverging with the ribbons. Now this could be, if it were to fall, this would come back down to 35 cents, which would be actually not a bad buying area in my opinion. 35 cents, I would probably pick some up around 35, 36 cents. You see I have some lines there because that's where I wanted to buy some. Which would be the 786 retracement, which we already got once, and I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I'd like to see it come back, but it never came back to the 382. I'd like it to come back to the 382 and see if we could get that, because this is a bit of a wedge sort of pattern right here. Let's see if the pattern recognition agrees. It doesn't, never does, sometimes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Let's go down to the hourly or 2 hours. Let's drill down to the 2 hour. Yeah. Things all over the place. We got rising wedges, falling wedges, triangles, all over the place. The target on this one is 37 cents. Yeah, okay. So that's Doge. Doge is kind of grinding higher in what I would call a rising wedge. You can see like right here, like a whole bunch of drawings. We could come back again. I'm sorry. Here and something like that. Well, it could be like a flat top. Not a very good one. Not the best rising wedge, I guess. So yeah. I would like to see Dogecoin come back and at least tap the 382 in the fib here. But since we drove higher, we might need to redo this thing, huh? Let's see. It drove even higher now. Let's see about that. 382 now would be about 34 cents. Let me lock that down, actually. Since we drove a little higher, yeah. Yeah, so it would be right up on this line here. Let me get rid of this box there. Let me get rid of this. I'm just going to leave this fib on here instead. I'm just going to leave the fib on there instead. This line doesn't matter anymore. Okay. Yeah, because it stays with this line. It breaks that line. We're coming back down to the 382. Maybe even lower. So let's keep our eyes on Doge. I have a very, very small position in Doge. I bought like 200 Doge. And I'm just kind of like, seeing where it goes. I have a little more BONK than Doge. Let's see. BONK right now. I'll show you why I was looking at BONK. So BONK, it did that big move up, right? It did come down to the 382. And now it's trying to figure out its way up higher. Let's go about right there. Something like that. Okay. and it started to go higher. So, oh, was that triangle? Does that go down or up? Oh, it goes up. Nice. Let's see here. So again, same pattern, right? We have this big move up and just slow grind down, slow grind down. As soon as it broke it, pop. So we're looking for stuff like that. And right now we had that same thing, a similar sort of pattern happen right now, right? Where we had a trend line going down and it broke it, and I'm looking for that pop back up to the top here. This could end up being a bear flag right here, which could drive us down lower, down to the 618 level. Okay, that is a very real possibility that we could be driven down to that 618 level. You can see the stochastic ribbons are the wrong color and pointing the wrong way. You can see the average force is getting weaker and weaker. I did buy somewhere like right around where it is, maybe a little lower than it is right now. So I would end up going a little bit red on my bonk before going green on my bonk. But I bought about $200 worth of bonk as a starter position when it hit the 382 area. And I'm looking for it to come back down to like the 618 to commit a little more funds. And my target areas for this one are a move up from that like 618 area here, which is, I want my average to be, I guess I want my average to be closer to like the 5-ish. I don't even see where it is, where the 5 is. Doesn't matter. Somewhere like this, right? And I'm looking for it to move up, solid 85, 88, maybe even get to like 112% up to there. And that's where I would offload my bonk the next time it starts to go back up. So that's it. That's all I've got for you today. That is the crypto weekend. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Go ahead and comment, subscribe on this video, share this video, check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio. Don't sleep on that sticker shop. The link is also in the description and channel bio, and have a profitable day.